She thinks she knows you well. She thinks you'll always be there, always willing to play, always ready to show your worth. But what happens when you stop? What happens when you teach her a lesson she didn't see coming? Attraction isn't just about chemistry, it's also about surprise, not knowing what to expect, and knowing when to step back so she can step forward. Most guys don't teach her this lesson because they're afraid they'll lose her. But here's the catch. It's the men who teach this one hard lesson that stand out. The ones who make room and show they're not afraid to walk away are the ones who make her feel the difference between being there and not being there, while the women chase them. If you watch this movie all the way through, you'll know how to teach her this lesson without games or tricks, and you'll see her chase you like never before. Let's begin. First, the power move begins with the power shift starts with you. Most guys think they need to change how she feels, but the power shifts the moment you stop making her the center of your world. You don't need to make her want you, you just need to show her you're fine without her. Marcus Aurelius said it best, you have power over your mind, not outside events. That's the lesson most men miss. You can't change her feelings, her choices, or whether she comes back, but you can change how you act and whether you let her absence shake your foundation. Here's where things get interesting. When a woman realizes that your happiness isn't dependent on her approval, something changes in her mind. She starts to wonder why you're not chasing her, why you're not reacting, and most importantly, why does she feel like she's losing you? This is when she starts to feel what you used to feel, uncertainty, curiosity, and the need to get a response. It's not trickery, it's how people think and feel. Something is more important when it's not easy to get. Seneca wrote, "It's not that we don't have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Spending time trying to convince someone of your worth is the fastest way to drain your energy. Instead, focus on your goals, your mind, and your peace. Imagine this. You used to text her twice to see if she wanted to hang out. Now you're with your friends, working, going to the gym, or learning a new skill. She notices the difference and feels the space you've created, and that's what makes her want to chase you. This is the hard lesson. When you stop putting her before yourself, you become the prize. She starts to realize what she took for granted, and when she realizes she can't easily get in touch with you, the situation changes. You don't have to be cold or rude. She will not only see the change, but also feel it, and when she does, watch how she starts to chase you. He is a man who values himself enough to walk away when he is not respected. Attachment is magnetic. The second thing that attachment is magnetic, there's something irresistible about a man who's emotionally unbothered, not cold, not rude, just a man who stands steady no matter what's happening around him. And here's the thing, women can feel that energy from miles away. When she senses that her presence or absence doesn't shake you, it sparks something in her mind. She starts asking herself questions she never asked before. Why isn't he affected by me? Why does he seem so calm, so sure of himself? What changed? And the more those questions circle in her head, the more you occupy her thoughts. This is exactly what the Stoics meant when they talked about being indifferent to externals. Epictetus taught that we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. Most guys crumble the moment a woman pulls away. They obsess, overthink and chase, but the man who stays centered, the man who isn't shaken by her silence, that man stands out. It's not about playing games or pretending not to care. It's about showing through your actions, not your words, that your sense of peace doesn't come from her attention. It comes from within you. Whether she's all in halfway out or completely gone, you're good either way. Think about it like this. Imagine you're at a party and there's one guy standing calmly enjoying himself, not seeking attention, not trying to impress anyone. Meanwhile, other guys are circling, desperate to be noticed. Who do you think draws the most curiosity? It's always the one who doesn't need it. That's the man. She remembers. That's the man. She wants to understand when you detach from the outcome. When you're perfectly fine, you become magnetic, giving off a quiet strength that's impossible to ignore. That strength pulls her in, not because you're trying to make her chase you, but because she can't help but wonder why you're so comfortable standing still while others try to get her attention. That's the power of detachment, and when you embrace it, you'll see how naturally the chase starts. If this perspective is helpful to you, please leave a comment below. If you agree with the idea of being unbothered and steady, please let us know in the comments. Let's continue on this journey together. Third, you're still valuable without her. You are valuable even without her. It doesn't matter if she texts you non-stop or acts like you don't exist. It doesn't change who you are. You were valuable before she came into your life, and you will be valuable after she leaves because your worth isn't tied to her presence, her love, or their approval. Inside, a calm man knows this. His sense of self doesn't change based on how other people treat him. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good man should be like. Be one." When you think like that, being a man you can respect becomes less important, and everything else fades into the background. Too many guys give up their sense of self-worth the moment they meet a woman they like and start performing for her attention, changing themselves into whatever they think she wants. But here's the truth. That energy turns women off because it shows her that you see her as the prize and yourself as someone waiting to be chosen. Change that script. Your worth comes from your standards, your beliefs, your habits, and how you live your own life with or without her. A man who's making something real, progress in his job or health, his thoughts. A man who wakes up with a purpose and knows his worth because he earned it through hard work is a man who doesn't need outside approval to feel safe. When a woman meets a man like that, she can't help but wonder, why doesn't he need me to feel complete? Where is he trying to impress me? What is it about him that makes him so solid and sure of himself? The spark is her interest. The chase doesn't start because you played a game. It starts because she feels something in you that most men don't have, a strong sense of self that says, I want you, but I don't need you. And the moment you fully accept that your worth existed long before she did, you become the kind of man she wants to chase. This is because women are drawn to men who know their worth, not men who are waiting for someone else to tell them. 4. Silence is a tool and a mirror. Sometimes the quietest thing you can say is nothing at all. Most guys think they need to talk their way backwards. Into her heart, sending paragraphs explaining themselves, trying to prove their worth with words, but a man who understands his value knows that silence speaks louder than any speech ever could. When you step back, when you remove yourself from her life, you create space, and that space does the talking for you. That silence becomes a mirror that forces her to sit with her own thoughts, her own feelings, her own memories of you. Every moment you shared, every joke, every touch, every time you showed up for her, all of it comes rushing back when you're no longer there, filling the silence. And here's the thing, when a woman has time to reflect, without your presence clouding her mind, she starts to feel the weight of that absence. That's when curiosity creeps in. Why did he pull back? Why isn't he reaching out? Does he not care anymore? It's a Stoic move. Through and through, the ancient Stoics practiced negative visualization, imagining the loss of something to appreciate its value by stepping away. You're not punishing her, you're giving her a taste of what life feels like without you in it. No begging, no chasing, no convincing, just space for her to realize what she had think of it. Like this when you're always available. If you're always in her messages and there for her, she can't feel your absence. But when you're not there, the silence is heavy and she has to deal with the void you left behind. If you were a man of value, if you made her laugh, feel safe, passionate, and at peace, that silence makes her feel uncomfortable. As Seneca once said, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. You are also going through a trial when you stay silent. It's where you learn to trust your own worth without always needing approval. When you can master that silence and be okay without her response, that's when the power shifts. That's when she starts to wonder if she made a mistake and the chase begins, because the hardest man to forget is the one who had the courage to leave and the strength to stay silent. As we talk about the powerful effects of silence in relationships, I invite you to stop and think about your own. Have you ever felt like quiet was stronger than words in a private setting? Leave your stories or thoughts in the comments section below. Sharing your ideas not only makes our community stronger, but it also helps us understand how these principles work in real life. Now let's move on to number 5. When most guys are forgotten, they're the calm in the storm. The calm in the storm makes them worry, and they think too much about every quiet moment. They think about every conversation and imagine the worst-case scenarios, and before they know it, they're blowing up her phone and sending emotional texts trying to get her attention back. But you don't play that game. You stay calm. You're not chasing, beseeching, or trying to get her attention back. You're just living your life, the same life that was valuable before she came along, and the same life that will keep moving forward with or without her in it. That kind of unwavering calm is rare. It's the kind of energy that women aren't used to, and it's the kind that draws them in. Empedocles said it best. It's not what happens to you that matters, it's how you react that breaks a man. Most guys show their insecurity as soon as she ignores them, but a stoic man sees it for what it is: noise. That calmness does two things. It doesn't change his sense of self-worth for a second. First, it confuses her. She's used to men reacting, getting upset, asking what's wrong, demanding explanations when you don't do any of that. It forces her to wonder, why isn't he affected? Does he not care? Did I misread his interest? That confusion plants the seed. Second, it attracts her, because nothing is more intriguing than a man who can't be emotionally controlled. A man who isn't triggered by silence or rejection is a man who's mastered himself. And that's the kind of man women can't help but chase. Picture it. You're the calm eye in the middle of her emotional storm while she's creating chaos, testing boundaries, or pulling back to see how you'll react. You're steady, unbothered, focused on your purpose, that quiet confidence, that refusal to break under pressure. That is what separates you from every other man she's ever met. And here's the beauty of it. You're not doing it to impress her. You're doing it because you value your peace more than her attention. That's Stoicism in action, mastering yourself so nothing external can master you. And when you embrace that calm, watch how she comes looking for the storm. She expected only to find a man she can't resist. Lesson number 6, the lesson of lack, how to learn from lack. It's in our nature to take things for granted when they're easy to get. When they're hard to get, we want them more. The same is true for your attention. If you give it away for free, she won't mind, but if you treat it like something that must be earned, she will. Changes how things work. Here's where most guys go wrong. They go out of their way to keep her interested by always being available, responding right away, and rearranging their lives. But a stoic man acts differently. He knows that his time, energy, and focus are his most valuable assets, so he guards them and only gives them to people who respect them. Maurice the Great put it perfectly: your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought. If you're always thinking about her obsessing over her actions, making her the center of your world. Your energy will reflect that and she'll feel it. But what happens when she suddenly isn't your priority, when she realizes you're no longer waiting around, no longer making yourself so easy to reach? That's when the scarcity effect kicks in. That's when she starts to miss what she once had unlimited access to. Imagine this: she used to be able to text you whenever she wanted and you drop everything to respond. Now you're slow to reply, not because you're playing games, but because you're busy, because you have a life, because you're focused on things that actually matter. When she does see you, you're present, confident and engaged, but you're not desperate to keep her there. You're not seeking validation. You're simply enjoying the moment, knowing that your life is full with or without her. That's the lesson of scarcity. I'm not trying to trick her. I'm just trying to show her how much I value myself. When a woman feels like your time is limited and someone else can have it, she starts to value you more, and that's what makes her chase after you. Because deep down, she doesn't want a man who is always available. She wants a man who is so focused on his purpose, growth, and mission that when he gives his time, it actually means something, and that's the kind of man she won't want to lose. I want you to take a moment to think about how you've interacted with others. Have you seen a difference in how people react to you when you limit how much time and care you give them? Share your thoughts in the section below, or just type "value my time" to remind yourself how important it is to be kind to your own time. Let's keep talking about how these changes can affect not only how other people see us, but also how we see ourselves in relationships. And beyond number 7, limits without setting limits, without explaining them, is something that weak men do while strong men impose. Most guys feel like they need to explain their limits to women, like they owe them an account for why they won't put up with certain behavior. "That's not cool," and other similar phrases. Or, "I really wish you wouldn't treat me this way." Men who respect themselves don't ask to be respected, they just stay away when they're not. If she crosses a line, they don't fight, beg, or whine, they just calmly move away. Don't make a scene, act out, or give a long speech about how you deserve better. Your actions should speak for themselves. Respect. A calm man doesn't explain his morals, he lives by them. He said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. That's the energy you need to carry." When a woman sees that your words and actions don't match up, she won't take you seriously. But when she sees that you're a man who walks away when you say you won't put up with disrespect, she feels your strength and power is magnetic. Women don't respect men who give up when they face resistance. They respect a man who stands firm, doesn't let his emotions get in the way, and is ready to walk away rather than compromise his self-worth. That quiet confidence is what makes her see you differently, and here's the key. When you set boundaries without explaining them, she wonders, "Why isn't he reacting? Why didn't he argue? Did I just lose him?" That uncertainty is strong because it makes her think and rethink in order to chase the respect you never asked for but naturally demanded. Respect is the basis of attraction. Without it, nothing else matters. Don't explain your boundaries. Instead, become the man who enforces them without trying, and watch how she starts to treat you differently. Number 8. You walk away. It was the hardest lesson of all, to show her that you're ready to walk away. You left the table. Most men are afraid of losing a woman, so they hold on too tightly, even when they know she's pulling away. They think that if they just try harder, explain themselves more, or prove their worth, she'll finally see how valuable they are. But that kind of fear-driven attachment makes her feel like she's in charge, like she can come and go as she pleases while you sit there waiting. But you're different because you've adopted the Stoic mindset and accepted the love of fate. You don't fight what is. If she wants to walk away, let her. If she loses interest, don't fight for something that isn't meant for you. A man who values himself knows that he doesn't need to convince anyone to stay. Walking away isn't weakness, it's strength, and that kind of strength is rare. Aurelius once said, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny for what could more aptly fit your needs. If she's meant to be in your life, she will be. If she isn't, no amount of chasing will change that." And now for the irony. Once you truly accept this and show her that you're okay without her, she feels it. That unshakable calm and quiet detachment changes everything, because now the fear is hers. What if I misjudged him? What if I walked away from something real? That fear of loss and the realization that you're not waiting around for her is what makes her want to fight to stay in your life. Think about it. A man who needs her will do anything to keep her. But a man who chooses her without needing her holds all the power. That's the man she respects and wants to be with. So when she starts pulling away, don't give in. If she really wants to go, let her. A man who is willing to walk away is a man she will always want to follow. People say that being absent makes the heart grow fonder, but in reality, it makes the mind go crazy when you're not in her life. When you've stepped back and let the silence do its thing, she has no choice but to sit with her own thoughts. And this is where things get interesting. She's not reacting to you in real time, and you're not distracting her. Instead, her mind starts filling in the gaps. She replays moments and wonders what you're doing, and suddenly the version of you in her mind becomes bigger than life. This is because she wants you more than anything else. When she realizes that you're really gone, and not just playing games or waiting in the background, she starts to ask herself, did I undervalue him? Did I lose something valuable? Sometimes even living is an act of courage, Seneca said. Most men can't handle being absent. They fold, they reach out too soon, they can't sit with the uncertainty. But the man who can, the man who is truly comfortable in his own solitude, that's rare. And in a world where men are always looking for approval, a man who embraces his own presence instead of chasing hers is a man she won't forget. If you take away something normal from her life, she won't even think twice about it. But if you take away something valuable, like a man with a deep presence and quiet confidence, she'll start to notice and feel the difference, and soon she'll be wondering why she ever let you go in the first place. It's not what you say that gives you power, but what you don't say. It's being able to walk away without being angry and move on without thinking twice. Because when a woman feels like you're not waiting for her to come back, she starts to wonder if she should. The shift is that you're not chasing her. She's chasing you. Why? Because you've become a man so undeniable that her attention is a gift, not a given. When men see a woman they want, they put her on a pedestal right away, as if her approval is the missing piece to their happiness. But a Stoic man knows better. He doesn't need to be chosen. He chooses himself. His value isn't up for debate. It's not based on external validation. It exists because he has built himself into a man of purpose, discipline, and strength. Someone once said, "A poor person is not one who has too little, but one who wants more." If two men are interested in the same woman, the man who needs her attention and wants to be validated by her is always at a disadvantage. But if he sees himself as the prize and is full with or without her, that's the man she can't ignore. One texts her a lot, changes his schedule to accommodate her, and waits impatiently for her replies. The other is calm and focused and sees her as a possible addition to his life rather than the center of it. Which man do you think she'll be drawn to? The one who already knows his worth. When you accept that you are the prize, you stop looking for approval from others. You don't chase, beg, or lower your standards just to be accepted. That quiet self-respect is what draws her in, Because deep down, women don't want a man who needs to be reassured that he's enough. They want a man who already knows he is. When you fully embody that mindset, she'll come to you. Number 11 is the hardest lesson of all. The hardest lesson of all is that you belong to yourself first. Most men base their sense of self on having a woman. They think that once they win her over, their life will be complete. But that's a dangerous way of thinking, because when your sense of self depends on someone else, you give them power over your emotions, decisions, and sense of self. And when they leave, you fall apart. The real victory is realizing that you never needed her in the first place. A Stoic man knows this at his core. He doesn't look for outside approval. He doesn't chase someone to feel complete. He is whole on his own. He knows that whether she stays or goes, his life will remain rich, his purpose will remain firm, and his peace will remain intact. Alexander the Great said, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." That means a man should never make a woman his goal. His goals should be bigger, like his aims, his discipline, his growth. The thing that makes a man attractive is that he is already complete in his mission. This is where most men go wrong. They think that if they show a woman they care by being available and showing how dedicated they are, she will stay. But that's not how attraction works. Women are drawn to strength, not arrogance or dominance, but self-mastery. They want a man who is in charge of himself and doesn't need them to feel validated. And here's the paradox: when you really believe this, when you stop trying to please other people, when you trust your own worth, and when you go through life with quiet, unwavering confidence, that's when she starts to notice the difference. She starts to wonder why you're different. As we come to the end of this enlightening journey, remember that you have the power to change the dynamics of any relationship. If you embrace the Stoic wisdom we've shared today, you'll find a profound shift, not only in how others respond to you, but also in how you see yourself. It's not about making her less important in your life. It's about giving yourself more self-respect and autonomy. When you stop reacting and start reflecting, when you put your own peace and purpose ahead of trying to please others, you open up a level of attraction and respect that is both powerful and lasting. It's not about being hard to get, it's about being hard to forget. By mastering the art of detachment, you teach her the hardest lesson of all, that your worth doesn't go down if someone can't see it. If you liked what we talked about today, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or stories about today's subject. Have you ever noticed a difference in someone's behavior when you started to focus on yourself more? If you want to learn more about how to change your relationships with Stoic principles, watch the videos that are popping up on your screen right now. Thanks for watching, and remember that in life and love, the person who values themselves is the one who gets the most respect and attention. Sign up for more ideas, and until next time, keep working on your inner power.